Yesterday we learned how to find the quartiles or divide the data set into 4 equal groups. Today we're going to use that 5-number summary, including the quartiles, the minimum, and the maximum, in order to create a box plot. Because we already know how to find the quartiles, the only data values that I'm giving you to create the box plots are the 5-number summary. It does not mean that this is the entire data set. I'm just giving you the 5-number summary because that's all we need to create our graph. First of all, a box plot goes on a number line. The numbers should be spaced evenly numerically regardless of your 5-number summary. You do need to take a look at your 5-number summary to see the maximum and the minimum values that need to be on your number line, but you should still be spacing it like a number line. Looking at our two 5-number summaries, the minimum values are 37 and 28. So 28 is the smallest value that needs to be on our number line, and the maximum values go up to 60. So I'm going to start at 25, scale by 5s, and go up to 60 on my number line. Notice how my box plot has a title overall. We're analyzing the data of how many hours per week different groups of people work. So we have managers that work anywhere from 37 up to 60 hours a week, and the hourly workers work anywhere from 28 up to 41 hours per week. We're going to put two different box plots on the same number line. They're going to be one on top of the other, and we're going to label each box plot separately as well as that title overall. We're going to start with the managers on the bottom. So the minimum value that the managers work is 37. We'll put a dot above the number line for the minimum. Quartile 1 is 40. We'll put a dot above the 40. Quartile 2, or the median, is 45. Quartile 3 is 50, and the maximum is 60. To create the box plot, you make a box around quartile 1 and quartile 3 with a vertical line through the median, and we draw whiskers, it's also called a box and whisker plot, out to the minimum and the maximum value. As a reminder, there is the same amount of data in each section of the graph, even though, especially that last whisker looks longer, it does not contain more data. What that means is that the data is more spread out than the rest of the data in the set. If you have a long whisker, it could also potentially alert you to an outlier. For hourly workers, we're going to start down at 28. We'll make this box plot above the other one. Quartile 1 is at 33. The median, or quartile 2, is at 36. Quartile 3 is at 38, and the maximum is at 41. Again, to create your box plot, you create a box around quartile 1 and quartile 3 with a vertical line through the median and whiskers out to the maximum and the minimum values. Labeling this one as well. And then analyzing what each of these box plots tells us about how often different groups of people work. One thing that's obvious right away is that hourly workers' box plot is towards the lower end of our number line, and the managers is towards the upper end. So hourly workers work less hours per week than managers do. Next, what I notice is for the hourly workers, each section of the box plot is about the same size. This means that there's a fairly consistent spread for the data set. As we mentioned before, the managers, the last whisker from quartile 3 to the maximum is longer than any of the other sections in the box plot. It's not so long that it makes me think there's an outlier. It means that the spread of the upper 25% of the data is greater than the rest of the data. In order to determine the spread for the middle part of the data, you just look at the boxes. For both hourly workers and the managers, they have a pretty consistent spread for the middle part of their data. One box isn't huge compared to either of the others. If you didn't catch all those notes as I was going, pause here to get these down, and I do have one more very important thing to talk about, so make sure you resume this video after you get all of these notes. The last part I want to remind you of is how much data is in each piece of the box plot. Remember, the lower whisker has 25% of the data. Each part of the box has 25%, which means the box overall contains 50% of the data. And the last whisker also contains 25% of the data. As a reminder, a box plot shows you how spread out the data set is. The longer the box, the more spread out the data is. It does not mean there's more data in that section. There's 25% of data in each section. Short boxes means the data is clustered close together. You might have a lot of data values that repeat. Long boxes or whiskers means the data is more spread out. You might have jumps or gaps in your data set.